Good evening, my Yarney friends. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Jamie and I'm with Redbird Stitches. Welcome to my channel. I have a couple interesting things to share with you guys. It's been a few days, probably like maybe a week, maybe 5, 6, 7 days, I'm not sure. But it's been busy. And I'm sure everybody's busy right now. Summer's upon us and, well, not quite, but close. So this time of year for a lot of people is very busy. So what I want to ask, first I want to say thank you for spending some time with me today. And if you're new here, this channel is predominantly about crochet and knitting and other types of fiber art with a little bit of thrifting thrown in here or there. And also just, you know, a community of positive energy and friendships. So I just wanted to give you that little overview. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel, welcome to the community, and thank you for spending some time with us today. And if you are a subscriber, thanks again for coming by and saying hello. So I appreciate it. If you do end up liking this video, if you could give it a like and a share, that would be awesome. That helps with the algorithm and shares my information with the on the YouTube streets. So with that, I can be reached a bunch of different ways. I'm on Instagram as Redbird Stitches. I'm also have a Facebook at Redbird Stitches. And I also have an Etsy shop. I'll list all of these locations in the description box, so that if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. And also, just as a reminder, I asked everybody to go ahead. This is the granny square that represents where I live, which is Central Florida. It's an orange. And I'd really like to make a wall hanging or a blanket of some sort. So I'm asking everybody if they could send me a granny square with representation of where you are from for your location. And if you would email me, and then I can go ahead and send you my my mailing address, because I don't have a P.O. box. I don't haven't received any great quantities of mail, if any. So I don't have a P.O. box, but I'd be happy to send you my address so that you could send me your granny square. So those are the housekeeping information that I wanted to follow up with. So let's talk about some new developments. Now, I have been crocheting since 2019. And I just started learning to knit within the last 2 months. So I'm a newbie at knitting. And as I have, you know, been on my crochet journey, I've really started to like filet crochet. If you're not familiar with what filet crochet is, it is like the little doilies type things that that maybe our grandmothers or maybe we've worked on in the past or seen. But here's some examples. I went to an antique store in my town, and these were so cheap, like $2 cheap. So that's super cheap. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to put the filet crochet in my antique needlepoint rings, but unfortunately it appears that the fabric of the ones that I purchased are too thick to fit in the needlepoint rings. So here's an example of filet crochet. So it's done in a grid. This is just a small, like, little rectangle swatch, which I love because, you know, a lot of times doilies and whatnot are round, but I like this because I like the little picot stitches as well. Oh, I got the sticker on it still. So anyway, I really liked it. It's super cute. So I like that piece. And then there was this piece. This piece is beautiful. It's very light and thin. I mean, it is like, this is the thread, okay? And it's a very pretty, I want to learn how to do flowers. And just the trim is just so pretty. Don't you guys think so? I do. And then I got this piece. This is another rectangle with some flowers. A lot of times people will do even letters. Like I've seen the word blessed or home sweet home, things like that. And then I got this one. This one's this is more of a doily, but it's still, the center is kind of like filet crochet. But this one is still in such good shape. I mean, even like at the scallops are beautiful. And then the center is just stunning. All that work. Again, $2. Crazy. I mean, and there's minimal, like there's a little bit of rust, but that's on one side. The other side was perfectly, well, you can see it a little bit, but that doesn't bother me. You know, when I put a vase on it or whatnot, I'm not gonna see it. Now this was the last piece, and it's like this. So again, it's a nice panel. It's got a rose, 2 roses with a pretty border. See the border on it? Double crochet stitches, and then you chain 2 spaces. So I've been liking this stuff a lot, and I really wanted to put it in the needlepoint rings, but it's not going to work out. So I'm going to use these in my room, my office, my craft room, my yarning room, as my husband calls it, my yarning room. So, oh, and this is the last piece. This I loved because I love the bright color. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's like it's folded. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 pieces. I don't know if I can, yeah. See? So I use this as a coaster. Anyway, and I love orange. Orange is one of my favorite colors. Yes, I love orange. So on this journey of filet crochet and wanting to learn how to do it, Blondie Knots did she's a YouTuber. She did a cute filet crochet headband for the summertime. I have to let Baxi in. Hang on one second. I'm sorry, but he won't stop crying. Come on. Go lay down. So I've got Baxter here and Blaze. So Blondie Knots, she did a cute headband for spring, and I loved it. I thought it was super cute. I looked on YouTube for tutorials. I hadn't followed any, but SEKHandmade. Now she is a YouTuber as well, and she does a lot of wearables. I've been following her for a couple years. She's taught me so much, like positive ease, negative ease, and she does wearables. And so I learned a lot from her. She's out of Wisconsin, and she does beautiful work. She does shawls, scarves, cowls, headbands, mittens, and she designs a lot. She has this really great tier project. It's a 4-tier system. So I followed her for a couple of years, and then I must have signed up for an email, like an update or whatnot from her. So I was going through my email the other day, and she had a call for a pattern test. Now, I've never done pattern testing. I've always been interested in them, but a lot of the times it's for plushies, and I'm not big on plushies, so it's, you know, I'm not going to sign up for a pattern test for a plushie because it's just not my big interest. I love wearables and things like that, household items. Don't get me wrong, I think plushies are adorable. They are gorgeous. They are an art on their own. The amigurumi is amazing, just amazing, but it's not something I'm 100% drawn to. I like wearables and things like that. So she sent out a message, and she was looking for 9 testers for Filet Crochet. I was like, sign me up. I was a little nervous, but she put out the call, and I was like, I'm gonna try it. And her project was, you could do a sign up to do a bookmark. You could sign up to do a headband. She had a cowl filet crochet project. And so I said to her, she said, you know, do you want to do all 3? And I said, I've never done filet crochet, and I don't want to miss your deadline. So I said, I'd like to sign up for the 2 smaller projects, which is the bookmark and the headband. And so she said, sure, no problem, that's fine. So she put me down for both of those projects. I was so excited. Like I said, I've never been selected for a pattern test. And the fact that, you know, I watch her, I like, you know, who she is as a person, it kind of makes you feel like you get to know them a little bit better because you're working on their patterns, you know. I mean, she has patterns on Ravelry, you can purchase them, you know, and I like a lot of her things. I just now started to do bigger wearables, you know, beyond scarves and hats and stuff like that. So anyway, so the pattern came out on the 14th of May. I didn't have the 2.25 crochet hook, so I ordered it from Amazon, and I got it a couple days later. And so then the weekend was busy with my husband. We were doing stuff, so I didn't get to crochet over the weekend. So yesterday I was like, I have got to sit down and do this bookmark. So I started the bookmark, and it was a 7 or 8 page pattern, 7-page pattern. And so she had the grid, a block grid of the bookmark. She had a stitch chart, which shows like double crochet, space, and all that kind of stuff, as a grid as well, all the stitches. And then she also had a written pattern. Now, I've only done a little bit of work with like a charted pattern before, because I did that poncho that has the Southwest from Susan Kennedy. So I did a little bit, but filet crochet is a whole new thing. So I said, you know what, I'm really pretty good at doing written patterns. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the written pattern. And so the first like 5 rows is, you know, chain this, second stitch from the hook, the normal stuff. So I was fine, I'm going along, 5 rows in. Well, then now you have to do the repeat of rows 2 through 4, you know, like 17 times. And it's like, that's a lot of times to try and remember which row you're on, which is the next row you're gonna repeat, right? That's a lot. So I was like, then I went between looking at the written pattern and looking at the the stitch chart pattern, because then I could see the row, I could see what row I was crocheting, then I could make sure that I was on the correct row, then doing the next row, which is the correct repeat row. So this is the yarn I used. It's this one. I've shown this before on the channel. It is it's a number 3 light, but it's really like literally a strand, you know, it's thin. I would consider it fingering weight. See, it's very thin. And this is a combination of organic cotton and bamboo. So it took me, let's see, 3.5 hours. It probably would have only taken me 2.5 hours, but I was about this far done and I realized I had made a mistake in the this, probably like this row down here. So I had to rip it back. So fun. But I finished it, and this is the bookmark, and this is the tier 1 project. So you can see my stitches, and you can see the variation of the yarn was starting to switch to another color. So yeah, so I blocked it, and I sent her the pictures. I sent her the feedback from the pattern, and that's my very first one. I think I did pretty good, not too bad. So then I was like, I can't find, I kept for the life of me thinking, did she send me the headband pattern? And I'm looking through my email, and I'm looking. Oh, and I found it finally. She sent it on the 14th. And it's due on the 21st. So I started to like mini panic last night when I was reading it. I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, that's Thursday. And again, I can crochet, but I've never done filet crochet. So I'm not very fast at it, and I'm not like proficient reading pattern. So that is the next project, was the headband. And that is also it's considered a tier 1 project. So it's a small project that's designed to introduce you to a new skill or technique. That's the number 1, tier 1. And so this is the headband I made. It has like the crisscross in the front, and it's done with a 4-weight yarn. And this is the back. And I finished it today. So I was excited. I started it last night. There's 42 rows, and I was at like row 15, and I was like, okay, I'm doing okay. You know, I felt comfortable. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, I gotta go to bed. But I was like, I can do this. I can, you know, I don't have to stay up till 1 in the morning and finish it. So I went ahead and finished it this morning. And that's how it came out. It is a number 4 weight yarn by Yarney from Hobby Lobby. And I used a 4.0 millimeter crochet hook. Yeah, number 4 weight yarn. So it's really super cute. I think it came out really cute. So I went ahead and filled out the paperwork. She asked for the photos of it and the feedback on the pattern. For this one, I did the same thing. I started with the written instructions, and I went ahead and at the repeat rows, I just followed. I was able to, like, I had memorized the first stitch and the last stitch, you know, if it was a chain 3 or a chain 5. And so by the time I had memorized that, then I was able to go ahead and just follow the stitch pattern, the chart stitch pattern. So that's how it was. I'm gonna show you guys how it looks. It's super cute. And my hair is pretty, I have a lot of hair, but, and it's 20 inches round. Isn't that super cute? I like it. I think it's cute. It's kind I've never made before, so it's new. You didn't have to do like the crisscross here. She had it where you could just match up the ends, but I like the crisscross, especially, you know, I think too, because, you know, sometimes they tend to stretch a little bit, so the crisscross is a little bit tighter on the front end, and then, you know, it gets to your size. So this is called the Nyla, Nyla, tier projects, and she has also, to go with this, she has a cowl. I didn't do the cowl just because I would have probably missed the due date because it would have just been too much. So, but I do plan on buying the pattern because, you know, I've got the headband, so I should probably go ahead and do the cowl too. So anyway, this was, how many yards? I think it was like 40 yards, 40 to 47 yards for this. And I think this was 15 yards. So, and she taught us how to figure out the yardage, which I didn't know how to do that. So if anybody is, if anybody would like that information, I'd be more than happy to share that with you. Okay, so the second tier projects are designed to apply the new technique, and the project size is like a medium size. As tier 3 is designed to combine skills, and it's a medium project to expand your skills with shaping. And then a fourth tier project is designed to let your skills shine. Larger, more complex project that mixes several intermediate stitches and skills to create a gorgeous final project. So I like how how she does her techniques, new techniques, and the projects that she has, because you get a small project, so you're not as frustrated or overwhelmed, and they each build on, you know, the next one up builds and builds and builds. So it's a nice way to learn things. Let's see, what else do I have to tell you guys? I have also, okay, here it is. I forgot. I was watching Jennifer Rivera, and she was talking about this book. So it's called this Crochet Stitch Dictionary. It's got 200 essential stitches with step-by-step photos, which is quite nice. And what I liked about it as well is not only gives you the stitch, but it gives you the count. You know, like if you're it needs, let's see, hold on, let me find it here. The multiple. It's like 2 stitches plus 1 plus 2 for the foundation chain. It tells you how many stitches you need, or 6 stitches plus 1 plus 2 for the foundation chain. So it tells you how many stitches you need for your foundation chain. A lot of times there'll be a stitch guide, but it doesn't tell you how many you're going to need, so that if you want to make, maybe just a swatch, and then or if you want to make a scarf, how many, however long you want it, you're going to have to multiply that, the amount of stitches for it. So I like that fact. There's some beautiful stitches in this book. It's a very nice book. It wasn't that expensive. I got it on Amazon. I think it was like $12.99 or $13.99. It was a little bit on sale. So a very good reference book. I like this one. It's called the Peacock Ridge. I like that one. I think that's so beautiful. So I'm looking forward to using this. I would like to design just a tank top for the summer using maybe just like a simple stitch with, like, not a closed stitch, but more of an open stitch, because I do live in sunny Florida and it gets pretty hot. Today it was 92. Yeah, but anyway, so I would like to see if I could, even if I didn't do a tank top, but like a boat neck, 2 panels, square panels, you seam it up the sides, leave an opening for your head, and then, short sleeves. You can put a little cap sleeve on them. It's not that hard to do. So I was thinking of that too, and I could use my stitch dictionary and use a new stitch for it. So yeah, I wanted to show you that. Then a little update on my adventure in knitting. I had purchased this yarn last summer when we were in Portugal. It's a beautiful 100% cotton. They use a lot of cotton there. And so it's a number 3 weight cotton, 100 grams, 240 meters. So that is 200 and I think 52 yards. Anyway, that was like one of my treats when I was on my trip. And I like to do that because then I get to have a little treasure from my travels. So I'm making an asymmetrical scarf with the yarn, and these are considered to be the garter stitch. When you're knitting, it's called the knit stitch. When you're like this, it's called a garter stitch. I haven't quite figured out the knitting lingo / jargon, but yeah, isn't that pretty? I love it. I love the yarn. I can't wait to have a nice little cotton scarf that I can wear all seasons here in Florida. So anyway, and I'm using these Prim needles. And what I like about the Prim needles is they have a little bit of resistance. Let's see. Yeah, I wanted to show you the name. PRYM. I think these are 4 millimeter, I want to say. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. And I just figured out too that in November we're going to be traveling to through the UK for about a month, and I was like, I better get moving and check the weather just to kind of see what the temperatures are averaging at that time of year. And I have the sweater, the brown sweater that I did last year, I crocheted, and I have some beautiful yarn that I want to work up a nice scarf. So I'm like, I better get working on those few things because packing is going to be limited because we're going to be traveling for a month, and you can't be hauling, 3 suitcases around on cobblestone. That's not going to work out so good. So we travel very light, and so I want to really start looking at what accessories I'm going to bring because 40 degrees to folks that are from a northern place is not bad, but 40 degrees is chilly for us. So, and then if you put rain on top of it, it can get even chillier. So I was like, I better start working on my scarf that I wanted to do because I don't want the trip to sneak up on me, and I don't have what I want to take with me. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. But if you guys could do me a huge favor, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Again, I appreciate that. And if you could send me your request to make the granny squares, that would be phenomenal. And if you could check out my Etsy shop and give me a like, I would greatly appreciate that as well. If you could send me what you're working on, that would be a bonus. So I really enjoyed learning the new technique of filet crochet. It was, after you got like a rhythm going, it was fun. At first it was like, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna get this. It's gonna take me forever, And then also using the really tight, I didn't even use thread. I do want to use thread at some point, but I'm just going to use my yarn that I have now, the 3 weight fingering weight yarn. I've got plenty of it, so I'm going to go ahead and just use that. I'm not going to buy any more supplies right now. But anyway, I just wanted to show you those few things. I hope you're all doing well. I hope your health is well. Please make sure you spend time with your families and be kind to each other, be kind to yourself. Life can be hard, and sometimes we're our worst own critic. So, you know, life is hard, like I said, but it makes it better if we're friendly to each other. So anyway, with that, I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.